Welcome to the ABOP podcast. ABOP is the Alliance of Black Orchestral Percussionists, a nonprofit organization that focuses on mentoring future generations of Black percussionists. My name is Raynor Carroll. I am an ABOP founder and the former principal percussionist with the Los Angeles Philharmonic. Thank you for joining me on this podcast. This episode, number 24, features a conversation with Don Parker. Don is a longtime percussionist, educator, and administrator. Currently, he serves as chair of the music department and professor of percussion at Georgia College State University. Don has held titles of principal timpani and principal percussion with the Fayetteville Symphony. He has been producer, director, and presenter of numerous workshops, masterclasses, and clinics. Don is active with two duos, the Hayden Parker Duo and Double Take. Don is an ABOP advisor, and somehow, some way, Don has found time to co-host and guest on several of these ABOP podcasts. Don, welcome back.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Well, it's the start of another academic year.
And you juggling all the responsibilities, activities, and everything.
Yes, it's that time where all the things that you've been planning during the summer now coming to fruition here at Georgia College, Georgia College and State University. Let me be clear.
Yes.
The duties that I have are many and deep.
And how many years now? Will this be what, your eighth year?
Yeah, this is starting my 8th year at Georgia College.
So looking back, has it gotten a little bit easier at the beginning of the year, or is it still a challenge?
You know what? Every year offers another challenge.
Okay.
Just as if just like anything, there are times when there are things that okay, this is cake right now. Some of the things that when I started in position were like I was fretting over some of those things, trying to make sure they're right. Now those things are the easy things. It's the other stuff that's been piled on top of that now that has become a challenge to, I would say, balance in terms of what you do.
Yeah, I would relate that to playing in an orchestra. You prepare your part, you got it down, you go on stage, and then the conductor does something completely different. So,
Oh, yes.
that's out of your control. You just do the best you can.
Oh, yes, that is definitely the case. Um, I mean, there are always situations which pop up. Most of the things that occur as a chair, I mean, the things that are easy are the things of music because the music really doesn't change. You have to practice, you have to work at it, you have to work at that craft to do that. And at this point, that's something each one of my faculty members that I'm responsible for, they are capable of doing at different levels, of course. But in regards to, and the students, of course, are the students. They're going to come in with expectations of one thing and then find out maybe another, or find out that they are to do more and rise to that occasion. And it's great to see that change happen. I get to see that change from someone coming in as a freshman to
Right.
senior, graduating, and now they got a job, they got kids, and they're coming back and saying, "Oh, I love what you did," blah blah blah. Etc. Those stories, I love to hear those stories.
Yeah.
Um, it's the stories of, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna make it out of here.
Right. Those are the tough ones. Yeah.
Those are the hard ones. But
Yeah.
some of them turn out to be stories of, it impacts you because if they make it, then they know they really have earned it.
Yeah. That's the whole point. That's what education is about, educating in every way, not just what's in the book, but life.
Yeah. And it is life, that's for sure.
Did you plan on being a department head at some point? Because I see, you did get your music business degree also.
Right. Well, you know what? It wasn't I did not have thoughts of being a department chair. Matter of fact, I didn't have thoughts of being a college teacher. Really, initially, I thought when I was growing up, I thought I was going to play and
Hmm.
have a band and do those things and play in as many ensembles as I could and be that professional player. And some of those things are still happening. They're just not quite at the level that I would have thought. But it ended up that I have that little button that says I got a business head in that sense. I have an inkling for a hustle button. There we go.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I call it, a hustle button. And it's one of those things that I'm always looking for opportunities. I'm always looking for ways to do things better. I'm always looking to make some financial gains. I'm always looking for those opportunities to further some things and then make them better than what I got them. I think that's been my trend in higher ed, but I'm still doing it. I'm still doing the various things that I want to do in that respect. So the chair thing kind of came, it came later. And so, I mean, my duties are, I'm over like 5 different degree programs. It's a bachelor's of arts in music. It's a BMT, a bachelor of music therapy, both undergraduate degrees. And then also with that, there's an MAT, which is a Master of Arts in Teaching, which is connected to our BA. It's like an extension for the music education portion of a degree. It's like a 4+1 system where 4 years of the undergrad, and then you do some of your pre-certification courses in music ed, and then you go on to your teaching and clinical experience. Then there's the MMED, which is a Master's of Music in Education, which is a research-based degree that's online, as well as our MAT is online. And then we also have an MMT, which is a Master of Music Therapy, and that's online. And so 3 graduate programs, 2 undergraduate programs, and then an assortment of some minors, regular minor in music, then also a creative music media minor, interesting degree, little combination. And then also we offer a certificate in audio production. Then on the therapy level, we offer a music therapy equivalency program, which leads you into the master's program. So for someone who didn't start out with a bachelor's of music and music therapy degree, it'd be that person that has all the music, but needs some portion of the other, like the science portion or the clinical portion. They would pick that up along with some of the graduate courses and go on and proceed to get their master's in music therapy. So that was something I got into. Didn't know that was going to happen like this.
And in addition, your duties include professor of music as in percussion. So how do you line all this up?
Well, this is interesting because since I've been here, I've always had an adjunct percussion instructor here with me.
Okay.
Because I knew that the duties could be taxing. So I really should outline and say, yes, it's percussion and it's jazz, because I probably help out more with that end of things. But because my teaching load is somewhat reduced, but there had been occasion when I've had to pick up overloaded percussion. My adjunct who couldn't take more percussionists, I would pick up those additional students,
right.
Or I would pick up some things and help out with the ensemble, or things like that would occur.
Is it somewhat intimidating for a student to study with the department head?
Well,
Have you thought of that?
They can't complain to
They
anybody
can't
else.
complain to you. No.
Who they gonna complain to? It's like, what, are you either doing it or you're not?
Right.
I know
Yeah.
last semester I had actually, because the percussion instructor could not take extra amount of students. I actually had like 4 students, all were playing drum set.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I was able to do is I did something unique to try it. I kind of grouped them in groupings of 2. So it was like a group class, and they had to play for each other. They had to play with
Right.
stuff. It was great.
Yeah.
It really worked well. And they got a lot out of it that way because they were able to actually see something else. And I would point out, you see what your feet are doing there? That won't work. You're gonna have to do this differently. See where your hands are. Oh, how are you gonna play like this? There's
Yeah.
also all sorts of things with positioning I was able to point out just by they were able to look at each other and make those decisions.
Right.
And by the time we finished the class about the semester with all 4, oh man, they were having fun. They really were. They're swinging, playing some rock beats, playing a little bossa nova. And it was like, oh man, it was hard, but man, it was good. I was like, yeah, that's what it's supposed to
Yeah,
be.
exactly. How do you maintain all of this, with the department chair and doing drum set and things that pop up and life that happens,
Oh,
And,
yeah.
and then we'll talk a little bit about the duos that you have. How do you manage all of this?
You know what? I am a super scheduler. I didn't think I was, but then my wife was like, yeah, you plan everything. And then, and it's
Well,
like,
you have to, right?
yeah, yeah,
You
that's
can't
the
go,
main.
you can't do it by on the fly. You wouldn't have survived, I don't
No,
think.
no, no. I mean, all the teaching that I've done prior to being here has truly prepared me to be nimble. I mean, if someone said I had to put a schedule or a lesson together or a course together in, a week, I could do it, or I could do it in less because I understand some of those nuances that need to happen. So, maybe I've gotten to the point where, it's on automatic on some things, but it has to do with all the planning I've done before. All those things come back. You don't forget those things. All
Yeah.
they do, they become a part of what you can do and a part of the package of being able to offer it. I'm running from, like the jazz combo to a lesson, or from a lesson to a meeting with the dean, or a meeting with HR, or a meeting with somebody, and being able to compartmentalize it, but be organized while you go in.
Yeah.
It's just becoming second nature.
When you were younger, let's say teens,
Okay.
uh, were you basically of the organized style? Did you know how to prioritize? In other words, did this come naturally to you, or did you have to learn how to become organized and how to set priorities?
You know, I think growing up, I grew up in Washington, D.C., and I went to, elementary school. I went to the D.C. public schools for elementary.
Hmm.
And I would say I was pretty organized. I was kind of a high achiever to most, for the most part.
Right.
But I knew that there were certain things that I like to do, and I wrote everything down. I didn't realize that, but I was doing. And so one of the things that my mother did for us was to make sure that we had the best academic setting we could. So once I got to sixth grade, I was out of there. She put us into an all boy Catholic high school, sixth through 12th grade,
Hmm.
where it was Benedictine monks. And so at the school, I had, 4 years of Latin, 5 years of French, religious courses, everything. It was a college prep program.
Hmm.
Did they have music? They didn't have the music necessarily.
Really?
Music is what I got outside. I basically went to, it was a youth orchestra program called the DC Youth Orchestra Program.
Of course. Yeah.
And I basically grew up in that program from prior to being at, the St. Anselm's, which is where I was at, that private college prep high school for 6 years. I had been with the youth orchestra about 2 years after being in an elementary school band. And then I said, I need more. And then someone suggested this program. And basically, that program ended up being the thing that really got me into the orchestral playing and stuff,
Mm.
because I went up through the ranks there from, beginning level on up through the prep, all the elementary, the junior and the senior. But there were two tracks you could follow. There was a track you could follow, which was band. There was a track you could follow, which was orchestra. I followed the band track initially because you get more playing time. But then I jumped over into the youth orchestra, which was fun.
Yeah.
I loved it. I mean, and so I got a chance to do a lot of playing with them. So that was Tuesday nights, Friday, Thursday nights, and Saturday mornings. Doing the school thing at St. Anselm's, I was getting all
Hmm.
that college prep stuff.
Right.
And then I was practicing, and then, I was doing private lessons too, because I had a private teacher since I was in fourth, fifth grade.
Great. That makes a
So
difference. Wow.
yeah, and actually, I give shout outs to her, Roberta Washington. She was my teacher. She's still
Mm.
alive. She's still hanging in there. She taught me in that program privately. I used to go there to her house and apartment and pet on Butch the cat. And Butch liked me, so we were good. And to this day, Roberta refers to me as number one son.
All right. All
Yeah, so
right.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
great. I mean, and so she was the inspiration. She actually went to North Carolina School of the Arts, so she was trained orchestrally, and she was a big Art Blakey fan. And then
Hmm.
I used to carry her drums and hang out at Mr. Henry's,
There
DC.
you go. Yeah. Yeah.
I was 14 years old in the club.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's one of the best ways to learn, you know?
yeah, it's
Just
apprenticeship.
hang out with your teacher and watch them, ask questions, see what they do, how they deal
Right.
with certain situations, you know. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was great is with the youth orchestra at the time, of course, I'm doing all this heavy school stuff, but in the same time, I was doing all this heavy playing where we were playing at the Kennedy Center. We were playing on the Capitol steps. We were playing in Rock Creek Park. We were playing in all these places. I got a chance my last year to go to what used to be Greece and Yugoslavia.
Hmm.
Greece
Hmm.
now, but yeah. But I had a chance to do that for about what was that, a week tour just before I went to my undergraduate school at DePaul.
Right. At this point in high school, are you thinking a career?
Yes. Oh
Yeah,
yeah. The career
definitely.
was in place when I was in, like, I would say sixth, seventh grade. I knew I
Very
was going to
good.
do music,
Very good.
but the hustle button that kicked in when, I had a band in high school. The first was called Pure Sound. No, first it was called No Bass because we had no bass drummer. It was just me playing marimba. I had a guitarist and a drummer, and man, we were smoking. But
Wow.
and then we opened it up, and I got a bass player, so I had to change the name to Pure Sound. So that's okay.
Very
And
cool.
but then I was playing church things, chamber things, things my teacher couldn't do. She said, "Here, Don, you're doing this. Okay, play the timpani part. Okay, cool, no problem. Christmas timpani stuff. And so I was playing, the streets of Georgetown, in the concert hall, all that stuff while I was in high school. So I had a great experience. I mean, I was doing everything I wanted to do and being the organizer too. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
guess that just led me to that industry thing of business.
Yeah.
And so that's when I was, undergrad, I was looking for places to go.
Yeah.
And DePaul University in Greencastle, Indiana, they had it. They had the spot for me. And
Yeah.
so
Was your mom supportive? Was she thrilled with the fact that you were going into music?
yeah, it was interesting. This is interesting. I didn't know a lot of this, but on my mother's side, the young side, there were a lot of educators. So
Hmm.
that did never click that I was going to be teaching.
Right.
But I have my uncle, Sidney B. Young, was a band director at Claflin College, now Claflin University, for over 40 years. His wife, Frederica Young, was the choral director and the chair of the department at Claflin State, or now Claflin College, but it's now Claflin University, one of our HBCUs. And I actually still have my uncle. My uncle gave me my first drum. I still have it.
Wow.
It's old Slingerland drum, wood drum. I changed the rims on it. It sounds good. I mean, it sounds great. And so it was baked in, I guess. I have
Yeah.
a lot of uncles on the young side of on my mother's side that were musicians or educators. And my mother played a little piano as well. So
Hmm.
it was interesting. So yeah.
She didn't have to push you. She didn't have to make you practice.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah.
As matter of fact, in the place we lived in DC, because I was born and raised in DC, not like on the edge. I was in
Hmm.
DC. In the basement was mine.
Okay. Great.
I used to I had my marimba down there that my father got me when I was in sixth grade. I had my drum set. It was a little cheap little Japanese kit, that three-piece kit that I put some nice heads on and
Yeah.
had my zillion symbols at the time. Sorry, Sabian. And
That
because
was
Sabian wasn't
pre-Sabian,
around.
so
It
yeah,
was
there was no
pre-Sabian. They weren't around.
Sabian.
And I had that set up down there. And gradually, as I had the band and groups, I had amps and all the mics and stuff. So the basement was mine. So my mother always remembered the story that we had an intercom system. Some of these people don't know about intercom systems, but
Yeah.
wired system where you can
Oh
call down
yeah.
a place of the
Right.
house.
Right.
And so she had,
Don, dinner
yeah,
is ready.
she
Get
hit,
your
she
ass
hit the
down
button.
here.
Yeah, basically, I was down below there. I was below the kitchen.
Oh,
So she
get
would
up here.
get up here, exactly. And she would say, "Hey, you know what time it is?" And I was like, "Yeah." And you can hear the marimba. Now it's a beautiful marimba at night. It's beautiful. It's like you hear this warm sound going on. I'm working stuff. I'm working something up. And she's like, "You know what time it is?" I said, "Yeah." I look at the clock. Really? I said, "Yeah." It's 2 o'clock. Okay, 2 a.m. Okay, I'll be up soon. And and
See, that's the story, or that's what we want out of our students, is that it's not the opposite where they have to be pushed to practice. They have to be pulled away from the instrument. That's what we want, right?
oh yeah,
Because
that's
I'm sure for you, having that access, having the instrument at home and the access, and then being free, having your own room. I mean, it just, you bonded. You bonded. You knew that instrument well because you had it there all the time and you played on it. You lost track of time. You were so into what you're doing. You're in the zone.
yeah, I was always there. I mean, me myself, I'm a night owl. And so
Mm-hmm.
the idea of
Mm-hmm.
having my space and to be able to practice, and this is really ideal. It's been wonderful,
Yeah.
but it's been
Yeah.
earned.
Yeah.
It didn't come overnight. It was
Right.
earned. And
Right.
so, um, but yeah, it was, I mean, I still remember those days. I mean, they're so vivid. I can just remember just down there. I could see my father's desk full of papers because he was an economist. He was a consultant. And he had books and all this stuff. And right next to the book was the marimba, the snare drum, and all the other stuff.
Ah.
And right in there, it's like, and I just move it out, practice, and he was like, Don, I said, hey, it'd be different if I'm not out on the streets. What am I doing? If I'm not doing
Yeah.
that, I was at soccer practice or something. I mean, come on, hey, who you
Yeah.
want?
Yeah.
But it was nothing for me to practice or study. So the organization, back to that stuff, that's how I mean, I had to be organized to get all that stuff done. It was impossible for me to do it any other way. And
Right.
so I think I carried that on into when I was, in at college too. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't have to tell me to be organized. It was more like just how far to go with it. I was one of those people that just tried to get everything. I tried to squeeze anything out of that. You give me a dollar bill, it's like how tight can I
Yeah.
squeeze?
Right.
you know, Try
Right.
to get as much out of it because I
Yeah.
knew time was valuable. I learned that early. Time
Yeah.
we never have enough time, so you got to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So when you became principal percussionist at Fayetteville, I would say that's an easy position too for you of organizing the section and assigning parts and instruments.
Oh yeah, that was great. I think it was the first time that I had an opportunity to really put my stamp on something
Hmm.
that was outside of the academic area. I have a thing with my wife. I have a trumpet percussion duo with my wife. I have a jazz vibes duo with one of my friends from UT Austin. And then when I was in Missouri, I played with a group called Synchronia, which was like a French chamber style group, which piano, cello, clarinet or saxophone, violin, percussion. And it was a great group. And
Hmm.
all they did was commission pieces.
Right.
And so, but anyway, but being with Fayetteville, it was a sense now I'm in an organization and I'm dealing with the section. And I kind of grew into the section because, it was one of those orchestras that was regional that wasn't paying a lot to the point where there was a director that came in and pushed it up to the next level and
I
almost
see.
their money. So then
Right.
they had to start doing more things. And it was great because, as a percussionist at the time, this was the kind of the fourth stop for me in terms of developing a percussion program.
Hmm.
And so I knew it was kind of okay. I'm doing it at Fayetteville State University. There is, this is one of our HBCUs in North Carolina, one of many in North Carolina. And I knew that I wanted to establish something where I could get some students really doing some things. And I thought, oh man, if I'm the principal, if I need extras, guess what? Where are they coming from?
Right.
I'm building. And so I
Yeah.
had a few of those students play with me. They actually had to play side by side,
Hmm.
uh, which was showing them that they could do it.
Yeah,
It was,
that's the best experience for them. Not that playing in an orchestra itself is not, but by their teacher, right beside their
yeah,
teacher, that's the best.
yeah, it's a different energy. It's a
Yeah,
different
yeah.
energy. They have to understand that. And the other thing that was great in the section for me was that there were colleagues that were like me. I had two other or three other African Americans with me, along with a couple of young ladies who were with me. It's like, yeah, this is probably the most culturally diverse section I've ever been in. You know,
Or you will ever be in
ever
also.
be in. I
Unfortunately.
mean, unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
Fayetteville Symphony, I had played in some regional things when I was in college.
Hmm.
You do those things and they're one night things. You go and come back and you're like, okay, great. But this was solid. So I was with
Mm.
them from 2003 through 2019, roughly, where I served as section leader. And then after that, as a section player, then moved to principal timpanist at one point in time. I love playing timpani.
You've done it all, man.
I love playing. Well, the timpani playing, that's an orchestral. That's ooh, ooh. It's one of those things where it's just power. It was
It's
fun.
it's almost like you're the drum set player in the orchestra.
Yes,
You're the
yes,
leader in the back.
yeah. And it's like here it is, take it or leave it. It's
Right.
gunslinging time. It's
I
like,
wish they would take it more often than they leave it. So.
well, you got a point there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it was it
Wow.
was it was great because I mean we were playing standard literature, of course.
Hmm.
Then we had a conductor that did some of his own original music, and that was good. And then you do the pop series stuff,
Right.
and so summer series things. You know, it wasn't I wasn't doing 39 weeks of something, but it was enough because I was also teaching at the school.
Right.
So I had 12, 13, 14 majors at a time, teaching music theory, oral skills. I was coordinator for the music area because it was Fayetteville State had a performing and fine arts program where there was music, then there was also dance minor, theater, and then visual art. And so with those areas, the umbrella they had were coordinators, and I coordinated the music area. So, recital hour, juries, made sure, part-time people had what they needed. But then again, the other side of it is I did the HBCU thing where I was actually over the drum line for about 10 of those years. For 10 to 12 of those years, I was there till we started migrating something different. So, I set them up for a little bit of success, a little bit of
Hmm.
different thing that is still lasting today. Although I think it's modulated a little bit, but that's okay. Things will change. But
Yes, yes.
but for the most part, I have a bunch of students that were in that line, in that drum line, that were also in percussion ensemble.
Right,
They
right.
they they just as well as they played in that drum line, their
Hmm.
grooves, they were playing in percussion ensemble. We're doing like Ne Rosario pieces,
Right.
big pieces, rhythmicas and stuff like that. I mean, all the traditional literature and some. Actually, we had a chance. One of our day of percussion things. I mean, we've had people like Carl Allen in. I had Ndugu Chancellor in. I
Hmm.
had Chris Hart come and do a talk on the business.
Right.
So I was giving them that opportunity, exposing them to the same world that I had before that I was
Exactly. Yeah.
around. They were getting that, but it was at a HBCU,
Wow.
very different.
Yeah.
And we had really good equipment because I was a dog on getting at it.
Well, you
I made
should. You
sure
should. They should have great stuff. What was the racial makeup of the orchestra?
at Fayetteville Symphony,
Yeah.
it's probably a little bit more diverse than you would think because of the
Hmm.
nature of it being in a military town.
I see.
Fayetteville being the home of what at one point in time changed from Fort Bragg. Now it was Fort Liberty. Now it's back to Fort Bragg, I believe, and also it's a home of special ops. It's pretty diverse in that respect. So you get a good mix of that in the area. But in terms of the orchestra itself, they probably draw on people from some of the larger areas like Raleigh, Greensboro, some of those areas. But a good chunk of people do come from Fayetteville, and it's a core of people that some people come up from South Carolina a little bit. So there are a lot of regional orchestras in the area. So, but I would say the mix, probably 70-30, 70-20, in terms of 20 being diverse, and that 20 diversity could whittle down to whether that's Black, Asian, Hispanic, et cetera, down from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But it's going to be your typical Caucasian orchestra to a
Hmm.
certain.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there were some key players in positions that were of ethnic persuasion.
Right. Right.
And
Very good. Yeah.
and so that was good. And my section at the time, man, we were smoking. It was great because when we got to the pop stuff, man, it was on. It was something in the music that we put in there that was different. But one little interesting thing, because now that I'm here, I'm in Milledgeville, I could not keep going back and forth to Fayetteville. That's 5 hours.
Yeah.
A little
Yeah.
much if you're trying to do what I'm trying to do. But
Yeah. So tell me, do you miss the orchestral playing?
yes, I do. I like I said, I get a chance to do the gunslinger thing where I come in and hit something real quick because they need somebody, and then I come back and they're like, "Ooh, I
Yeah.
love that," Or if they tell me I'm playing cymbals, I'm like, "I am." Oh, what am I playing? You start salivating, start dribbling.
Right, right, right. Yeah.
Okay, what
Yeah.
am I playing? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that okay. Oh man, it's that approach that it's that I don't know if you call it a high or whatever it is, but it's like you get that chance to do it one time right.
Yeah.
And you've done all that practice and you've hit, 100 crashes, like just to do that one right, just to get it, just nail it. Or that one passage that you want to get that's, you hit that one triangle note at the right sound. I was like, ding.
Yeah.
It's fun back there. I mean, I get to sit back and I get to listen to my colleagues in the section, but I also get to listen to orchestra. And we're probably the only people that really get a chance to really take it in.
You're right.
I love
Well,
being,
we're soloists. There's
yeah.
not 10 triangle players like there's 10 violas. There's not eight bass drums like there's eight contrabasses. So when we
Yeah,
play,
that's it.
that's it. Everybody hears it, everybody knows it. If you miss your entrance, everybody sees it and
Knows
knows
it.
it.
Can't take it back.
So yeah,
It's
yeah.
the gunslinger approach. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
You get one time,
Yeah.
But the organization of being in an orchestra and all that stuff, all those things, because we know that you just don't get there and all of a sudden everything is ready. You gotta think through how things are organized. You have to be able to work with people, personnel managers, marketing people, the conductor,
Yeah.
and then your section is all you got to. They all have to be thinking the same. Not I got to get out of here. It's like, okay, what do we need to do, Don? Okay, oh wait a minute, how do you want to phrase that? Those are the conversations we want to have. My goal when I was principal was, make sure that things were there, things were set up. There was, it was at the beginning of the season, man. It was like beginning of school. It's like, okay, who's going to play what part? Okay, this is your part. Here's your music. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. And because of technology, we've gotten really good now. It's like,
Hmm.
there's your part. No, you don't have it? Okay, here. You got it. All right. PDF, boom, boom, boom. You ready? Okay, make sure you bring this instrument with you because I don't have that one. Do this. Boom. Okay. Oh, you gonna bring your drum set? What time are you gonna get there? Okay. What? Oh, you're not gonna. I'm bringing mine. Forget it. Bring your cymbal. Good. I'm not gonna wait for you. I'm not waiting for you to be ready because as soon as he gives a downbeat, he's ready to go, and then it's my butt. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So it's the organization, and so I think all those years of being in the orchestra the years of being in higher ed and having to be organized, I think they all kind of led to this thing of wanting to not just manage or deal with the classroom setting, but actually deal with the department setting, the next level of things, where you're actually addressing what faculty are coming up and what they're doing. And so it's those little things. It's almost like the faculty, when I was in the classroom, that was my class, the students. Now I got a bigger stage, and the faculty are my class.
Right.
They really are, you
Yeah.
know. And my goal is I want to make them the best they can be so that they can
Hmm.
give their best to the student.
Absolutely.
And so that's the change. Now the issue is it's all the other stuff that's around us that kind of it's the nuances and other stuff that gets in the way.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, I still like to play, and I still get a chance to do that playing, and that was baked in based upon the years that I was going through. Going through this higher ed thing where, you know, you get out of school and you're like, okay, where's my equipment at?
It's
Like,
it's at school.
is that school? Oh, not there anymore.
Right.
Oh man, and so you have to be a collector, i.e., where I got all this stuff back here. But
Right. Right.
and so I knew what to do there, but then to set up the relationships and the camaraderie and the things where you can get a chance to play. So that's the networking stuff.
Yeah.
And so along the way, I got a chance to people would bring in for a festival, or I'd do a day of percussion stuff, or I'd play at this arts council thing, or I'd find this little orchestra, a little church gig, or my New Year's Eve gig. I used to have a New Year's Eve gig for about 11 years while I was in Texas. I never missed it until 2000 when they ended it. We said we would stay there till 2000. It was great. It was in Round Top, Texas, which was very famous there. I think they're Busendorfer thing they have there, but they have a festival, orchestra festival there all
Mm.
every year. It's a really big deal. But the concept is you create the playing environment. You create the environment along the way. So,
Right.
one of them was my duo with my wife, double take, trumpet and percussion. Perfect combination. You think about, going into battle. There you go. You know, you know. And so,
Did you ever do the craft encounters?
yeah, yeah, I got
Oh,
it.
of course. All
Yeah,
right.
I
Yeah.
got it. Yeah. I think we that's not a real mobile piece. It's a lot of equipment, brother.
Of
Craft.
course.
A
Yeah.
lot of stuff. Bill, it's a lot of equipment. And
Yeah.
so we've done a fair amount of what I call literature that was out there
Hmm.
and worked through it and to the point where we got the stuff that we really liked. So we recorded that on the first CD.
I see.
Then we came back and we did another CD that was all commission pieces for us.
Great.
And so that was fun. That was a lot of fun working with the title of that album was Atmospheres.
Hmm.
And it was named after the first commission, which was done, it was just called Atmospheres. It's like a three movement piece for the main instruments, marimba, but it has this multi percussion stuff that I like to do. So you got marimba, you got bongos, you got wood block, little temple block stuff, and cymbals, and and you got to move back and forth between all of it. It's kind of hip. It's really
Yeah.
hip.
Well,
And
that makes a difference when the piece is fun to actually play,
oh yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Like
It's fun.
I'd say like some musicals when you're in the pit. Some of them are really cool to play. Some of them are not, but
Oh yeah,
when they are, it's cool. So,
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So it was, so we were able to use those pieces that we had put together to play at elementary schools, do recruiting things,
yeah.
high schools, played at probably most of the HBCUs in North Carolina and a few
Wow.
others, done some other schools, traveled internationally. And so that duo has been together since 1992.
Wow.
That's how long.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that chain, we decided to make that to happen. So we've been together for a while and still doing some playing. It's settling down a little bit. So that's one thing. And then along the way, the other end of things, developed where, I had a pretty strong undergraduate program, had a pretty strong jazz, I don't say program, I say area. That expanded a little bit as I went on to do my stuff in Texas and UT Austin. And gradually I just started doing the jazz thing kind of picked up. And so probably after I was at University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, which was my first job, I was doing a lot of things, helping out with jazz, along with running their drum line and teaching 5,000 students and all that. And then I went up to Nebraska where I was, what was it, director of their commercial jazz and commercial program. So I was teaching theory one and two and the oral skills with that. I was doing improv class. I was running the jazz band. I was running a small group combo and I was running percussion ensemble.
Wow.
Yeah, see it. So I had no choice but be organized. But it was Shatter, Nebraska. And then so,
Hmm.
town of 10,000, sweet, you know. But it was great because I got a chance to hone my teaching skills.
Right.
And then I started some other things. I started a jazz series. We had a
Hmm.
jazz series while I was there. So I brought various people in from everywhere in.
No, I was just gonna
Go
say,
ahead.
is this about the time of the Hayden Parker duo?
Yeah, it kicked in, it started kicking in a little bit because we got closer. I mean, Jeff Hayden was I'd moved him in 1988 to Atlanta where he was at Georgia State. And we said, oh man, we need to do this. And so we worked it out. While I was in Missouri was I think when it was we started to work it out where I was close enough where I could get down to Atlanta, do this stuff, and then come back. And so we did one CD that way, and then we would do a tour with it, which was great. You got to promote it. So we
Oh
went to
yeah.
various other
Yeah.
schools and got out there and got a chance to play it, and it was fun. And we've been we've been keeping that going strong. We did a second CD called Reunion, and since we're both Commander fans, on the album cover is a Letterman jacket. It's because our big art is Reunion, but it's actually the old. You have to all the subtleties of what we did were
Right,
great,
right, right.
but
I
it was
see.
but it was there, Reunion, and so we did was more fusion of tunes that we did related, and we added a plus one. We added a bass player to it, so it's vibes
Okay.
based piano. Yeah, those projects were things that allowed me to keep playing. And along the way, other things popped up, but I kept doing more playing. So, as I got to the chair role here, I didn't really have to create anything. I had everything in place.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the contemporary classical stuff, I could still go out and do the gunslinger thing
Mm-hmm.
for symphony and play, like Hilton Head, Savannah, Philharmonic. I could still go and do that, and then also do the thing with Jeff. Now that we're only 2 hours, less than 2 hours away in Milton, Georgia here, so those things were in place. So I'm still getting my playing in while
Yeah.
I'm doing the other stuff, and still creating some other things here at the school as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I would ask you, and I know the answer, wouldn't you recommend for students to get creative and start their own duos, trios, percussion ensembles, whatever, outside of school? I mean, they
Yes.
can work at it in school, use the equipments, but this should go beyond what you're doing at school, because you're creating work, whether you end up going to all the elementary schools in your school district, it's a start. It's something to start with.
Oh, well, I'm definitely for that. I mean, I believe that you have to be creative these days because you need I mean, as a musician, you have various income streams. You have you can count on certain things for certain portions, certain seasons, and then some other things you can do. You can create once you create it, it's yours, and then you control that product. You control what happens with it. You control what you do, and you figure out things you can do, how you can make it work.
You got to
Yeah.
give.
So
You got to give in order to get back. So, whether it's playing in elementary schools and you develop relationships with the principals and word gets around to the middle schools, hey, and so the middle schools will hire you or the high schools, whatever. Or some
right.
boys club, girls club, whatever might hire you to do something and you just got to start that network. As musicians, we need to perform as much as possible.
Yeah, the situation. I mean, as a percussionist, you never know what you're going to be playing sometimes. I mean, a good example, I had a church Christmas gig that I did for like 4 or 5 years up in the Atlanta area. And gentleman always called me to do it. And because he knew, okay, one, I had the equipment, but two, I was flexible because I would come in and I had these crazy setups because I was covering two or three parts. You know how to go.
Mm,
You got, someone writes this cantata for a contemporary orchestra playing, and they wrote like 5,000 parts, and they never gonna hire all those people.
right,
And the recording was done in a studio where they were able to overdub or do whatever they
right.
needed. And
Yeah.
they give me the recording. See, here's what I want it to sound like. I was like, okay. And it's like, how many people I got? You got the tempness in you. I said, okay. I said, how much? But then you start thinking, okay, what's the doubling fee? What's the,
Right, right.
you start
Yeah.
thinking, and you try to think reasonable. I said, well, if you're getting him to tempt me, I'll bring my stuff, but it's going to be this, this, and this. I said, that's a steal because you'll never be able to find this other stuff. I got it all. You now have to deal with it and make it easy for them. You make it easy for them. And they said,
Right.
yes. And then
Yeah.
the tip says, how did you do that? I said, I had a conversation. I had a
Right.
conversation. That's what I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
But the point is you're going to be exposed to a lot of different styles and things you have to play. I mean, whether it's an orchestral oriented piece or whether it's more contemporary oriented in its nature or it's more sacred oriented in its nature, whatever it may be. As a percussionist, you have to be able to play a lot of different things. And so it's best to have been exposed to something and have an idea so that you can put that idea to work in that setting.
Right.
Nowadays, with most of the orchestras, if you aren't doing a pop concert, I don't know who isn't. I mean, if you ain't pulled out some John Williams and then cursed them out when you said, dang, why do you organize the parts like this? That don't make no sense at all.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I always say all the publishing companies should have it go through a percussionist before it gets published because
Yeah,
a lot of the things they do just does not make sense.
yeah, it
You
makes
got
sense.
four players and two of them, or three of them play xylophone. Now, come on.
No,
Now,
yeah,
three of them can play triangle, but not bass drum. Give them three bass
no,
drums, or they
yeah,
both. I think a part of that comes from the studios. At least that's
yes,
what I blame it on, because they get
I,
more doubles that way.
yeah, I understand.
I
Yeah,
understand that, but they should publish another set for the rest of us.
yeah, the real parts.
The real parts. So, but yeah.
We're cursing the same stuff. You're like,
Oh
man,
yeah. But the thing is, as principal, you just got to deal with it. You got to
that's right.
figure it out how to
That's
make it
right.
work. That's what our job is, problem solving.
Right.
Given 10 different parts, we have four players. I've got to figure out who can double on this, that, to make it work musically. And then
Right.
sometimes I have to go to the personnel manager. No, we need another player, you know,
Right.
you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, I've had that call too. I mean, you know, doing the Fayetteville Symphony thing, I went through how many personnel managers? About three. And I had to do some training. It's like
Yeah.
I need the list of stuff. Where's the librarian at? I
Yeah.
need the list of stuff now. I can't just operate later. If not, it's gonna cost you more. Really? I said, yeah, really.
Yeah.
The good thing about it was we did a fair amount of our concerts at Fayetteville State at Seabrook
Mm.
Auditorium, which
Hmm.
was probably the best
Yeah.
place.
You got instruments there. Yeah.
Not just instruments, but we had the best sound. That
Oh,
auditorium was great. After they did the renovation, about a year into when I was there, about 2004, 2005, when they finished it, oh man, that hall sounded great. Yeah, I mean, nice wood floor, hybrid type of grandiose shell that Winger put in. Oh my God, it was a legacy. Oh, it was beautiful. Floating cloud things you get adjusted.
hmm.
Man, you could play anything in the hall and sound good. And the symphony loved playing there. But the other thing I loved playing there was in the back when we had finished the renovation. I'd actually put a percussion cage in there, the 5 octave marimba, the vibraphone, the rosewood xylophone, a trap case full of all the Sabian cymbals. I had majestic toms. I sound like Johnny Lane now. I had all toms. I had two sets of chimes. I had a drum set back there. I basically it was outfitted for almost just about anything you could think accessory wise you might need. It had a good smattering of stuff you would need for a solid wind symphony or orchestral concert.
As you should. That's the way it should be.
And all you had to do is roll it out and
Yeah.
roll it back.
There you go.
And
Yeah.
so it was convenient, it was great, and I mean, it made my life easy because I knew what equipment I had. I didn't have to worry about the quality. I knew I was going to have what I needed, except for
Right.
some of my special artisan symbols. I had a few of those, but
Yeah.
it was ideal. And so I built the ideal setting and then I left. And that's okay. And that's all right. And I left them with hopefully something that they can use in the future. But now I'm in another setting and I'm doing some similar things, but not just percussion. Where I'm at right now, the challenges are, I'm in Milledgeville, Georgia. In terms of the size of the department, we have 130, 135 music majors, both undergraduate and graduate.
So, what's it like being a person of color and being the department head? Or does it not matter? Or
It
have
does
there
matter.
been many of flags been flared up?
Well, I don't know if there's that many flags. I think there's instances where people challenge you in a way that they wouldn't challenge somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So, how is one qualified to be a chair of a music department? What experiences should you have before you come in there to be able to do that? And I offered that. That is something I had. I mean, Georgia College is my fifth institution at. I've been in Arkansas, I've been in Nebraska, I've been in Missouri, I've been in North Carolina, all the different size schools and different types of schools. My education is from different schools, big school, UT Austin, small school, DePaul. And so I offer all that experience of which none of them have. So that right away was something that changed everything. I had a lot of experience from Fayetteville dealing with accreditation, NASM accreditation, because we had gotten it in Fayetteville from nothing to getting it. So I
Mm.
knew the process. You prepare along the way. If you think you're going to do something, you think you're going to be part of that, you try to prepare. And so, I started going to workshops at other schools, using my money to do that. So getting to the point where, I'm there, I'm in the door. Then the next thing is, okay, what are you going to do? What are you trying to do? One of the things people look at is they wonder, well, you just got it because you offer us diversity. But it wasn't just diversity I offered you some other things that you did not have. So, one of the things I really did coming in the door was I had conversations with each one of them before I even walked in the door. What do you want to do? Where do you think you're going? What things would you like to see happen? Made that list. I still have that list in a memo from 2018. That's been my guiding post ever since. They wanted this. They knew that they needed another building or some other things. Well, guess what? This year we have a new music rehearsal hall, something that they never thought they would get.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure I was going to get it, but the cards were right. My thing is, I've been responsible for putting what I call Humpty Dumpty back together again a little bit.
Yeah.
All these stagnant things of why is that like that? And then the COVID hit, pandemic hit,
Yeah.
and that really shows what you can do. I mean, I'm a pandemic chair. I've been pandemic proof. One of the things that I've learned or at least developed in terms of I've gotten their approval was my ability to handle crisis, how to work in chaos, how to how
Absolutely.
to how do you function when things are not working? How do
Right.
you react?
It's easy. It's easy to do when everything's smooth sailing, but it's those critical times that determine your character and
Right.
what you can withstand and how you handle things under pressure. I like how you said that you talk to your faculty because in order to have a plan for the department, you need to be together. Everybody needs to be on base, and it needs to be the same thing. You need to be going in the same direction. That makes a lot of sense, but I know things like that do not necessarily happen that way.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, things modulate over a period of time because people change. And, musicians, they really change. I mean, they sometimes they forget, they've been given a lot, but they have to understand they have to give. And when they forget that they have to give, then that's when we start having the issue. Or they get too comfortable. It's like, oh, you comfortable. Okay. All right. So what are we going to do about that? One of my challenges has been for the last really 4 years is we've needed another rehearsal facility. They've never had one just built for them. And I was real adamant about what's going to be in it and how it's going to be done. I basically I said I was building a second house.
Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
a second house in Millersville because I built a house here, but now I'm building a second house, and it's done. We're still working on some punch list things, but for the most part, this is something that none of them have ever experienced. It's very rare in a career that you get to experience a new building, especially at a small school.
Yeah.
And so it's a real special moment for them. I think back and go, since last July, I've been working on this building and I've seen it from the ground up, from the
Man.
dirt
Wow.
up. And so
Yeah.
we've gotten
Yeah.
a lot of things and it's for the benefit of the students, but it is really a step up compared to anything they've ever had. And some of them been here 20 years and they've never experienced that.
Oh, that's great. Congratulations, man. That's a big feat there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I couldn't say it's Christmas in August or I said, here
Yeah, you
comes
can.
Santa.
Yeah, you
Here comes
can.
Santa. But, we did get something that is going to be a great recruiting tool. It could be a great retention tool,
Mm-hmm.
something that the students can take pride in.
Well, congratulations. That's a
Um,
huge undertaking.
yeah. And so you get to say back to your question about what the challenges of being in this position, a Black person, a person of color, there are not many chairs of color at Georgia College.
Mm.
I'm in the College of Arts and Sciences, and actually, my dean right now is South African. He's a great guy, but he was a chair in biology and environmental sciences. I believe that's the title of it. But there are 14, is it 14 or 13 chairs in the department? I'm it.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a couple of women, which is good, and a couple of color, that's good, but that's it.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
went to the other colleges, I'm still it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, when I walk in the room, everyone knows,
You're right.
you
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
but it's fine. I mean, because I think many of them respect me for what I'm doing and how I'm handling things and what we're offering the community and the culture. I mean, when you're the chair of music department, you have a target on your back.
Mm-hmm.
They think you're supposed to get music for them no matter what. It's like, call the department, talk to Don, he'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the challenges are, just like anything, if I make a decision, it shouldn't be challenged. And it's being based upon information and also experience. Sometimes you'll see somebody else of a different nature not get challenged on something similar.
Right.
And
Right.
that's where you go, hmm.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and so those are they happen every once in a while. Or, someone thinks that they can come at you a certain way in terms of what you do and not really understand. But then I've had some colleagues go to bat for me. And it's like, hey, he didn't do that when such a was here. Why is he doing that? I said, you think about that.
Yeah.
Remember that when you're talking to me next
Yeah.
time.
That's the best thing when others pick up on these
And others
things,
pick up on it.
you
It's
know.
like, wait,
Yeah.
remember that. Remember
Right.
that.
Yeah.
Because you don't want that happening to you. And I really
Right.
say that to some of the female faculty who are interested in administration. Remember that.
Yeah.
It goes both ways.
So to wrap it up, Dr. Don, looking to the future, where do you see yourself, whether it's 5 years, 10 years? You're so active now. Are you going to maintain this pace?
Really, I'm about 2, 3 years away from doing relaxing some of the higher ed things I'm doing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
going more towards some of the things that I've been trying to be a part of, ABOP being one of them, in terms of being that voice, being that person that has some information to offer that goes beyond just, okay, I've taken some lessons and I've gone to school. It's like that's part of it, but that's not the whole kit and caboodle, so to speak. So,
Right.
so that right there with being a part of ABOP and seeing some of these students go through this life that they're choosing to do and how they're going to go about it, and not just going through it, not thinking about the things they need to do, but really understanding that you're responsible. You hold a lot of responsibility based upon what you've been given, and you need to take advantage of that. But you need to acknowledge it too, and not just think, well, I could have gotten this on my own. That's like, because I know what ABOP has done, and I'm like going, I didn't have that. I say it, both me and Ricky say, I didn't have
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I join in on that too.
So things that help further developing percussionists, especially those of color.
Yes. Right.
Definitely wanting to expose people to different musical settings that they haven't seen. So the thing with my wife is still good. Thing with Jeff is still good. Working
Great.
with Allied Arts here in town, the local arts council, in terms of developing some musical things, some educational things related to that for the future are things I'm looking at. I'm still connected with the Jazz Education Network, where I'm doing some things with them, and so those are things I'm want to keep doing and hustling, but slow it down a little bit, just a little bit, just enough so that I can not have to think about 5,000 people, and I can just kind of worry about me, my wife, the dog, a little bit.
There you go.
And so, but I will always be, I mean, I'm grateful to being able to do what I do. it's very rare that, I've been able to move through a lot of different phases of being in the music business. I've taken the music side, the higher education side of music business, though, uh, of dealing in this venue where I'm negotiating with facilities people about what we need in music. I can speak to them in a language that allows them to understand what we need, and I can get that done. Or I can talk to an administrator. I can talk to someone who is on the fence about supporting a faculty for a research project, and I'm writing something that supports them. You know, these type of things, they take a lot of time, and I like to play, but they take a lot of time. And so it'd be nice to not have to do as much of that and more of the playing and practicing, which is how I got here. I
Yeah.
mean, I got here because of some sticks and some mallets. Ain't that
That's
crazy?
amazing.
It's
Amazing,
crazy.
isn't it?
You think about
Yeah.
it. How'd you get here? Sticks and mallets, baby.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
here.
Pretty
And
amazing.
and so that's the journey, and I'm not done with the ride yet, I'm not
Right.
calling it quits, but you
No,
know, but definitely, I want to do those things that really matter to me and pay some of that back, some of that back to these students. And hopefully like I said, I got a few that are listening. I hope they don't get to being, how you say, don't let the noise interfere with what you're doing. Focus.
exactly. Focus. Yeah. Well, Don, quite a journey. Thank you for sharing it with us. And, many thanks for believing in ABOP and all that you do, your continued support. It's so appreciated, not only by me, but all the proteges. Maybe they don't tell you, but they do appreciate what we provide for them. And you are a big part being an advisor. And thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's so interesting. I'll say this in the last thing. Actually, I was hiring a new adjunct percussion instructor who came from UT Austin, my alma mater. And I said, yeah, I'm in this organization called ABOP. ABOP? Yeah. You know Raynor Carroll? Oh, Raynor? You know Raynor? So see?
Then the discussion went downhill. It
No,
changed
no, it went right.
everything.
Because then I showed them, oh, what is it? Oh, wow. And they start open the book. Oh, that's right. I said, yeah, yeah. I said, yeah.
Well, I appreciate you spreading the word about ABOP and what we do and our purpose. And, you're a part of it. So, like I said, it's greatly appreciated. And it's great to hear your journey. I didn't know a
Oh,
lot of the specifics. So, it's probably worthy of a part two in a few
yeah.
years. See,
Yeah, yeah.
how is that? How's that new building working out? I see Zildjian wants a space for their symbols too, man.
As long as they're willing to pay for a
There you
spot,
go. There you go.
I don't mind. I don't mind. But I will call Fabian up and say, hey, what do you think?
Yeah, up the ante now.
Hey, what?
That ends my conversation with Don Parker. Check out Don's website for more info on his recordings, events, projects, and more. His web address is www.parker, P-A-R-K-E-R, Lynch, L-I-N-C-H, music, M-U-S-I-C, all one word, .com. A special thank you to our supporters and sponsors of ABOP's mentorship program. Our corporate sponsors include Black Swamp Percussion, Cooperman, Freer Percussion, Innovative Percussion, InSound Mallets, Majestic Percussion, Marimba One, Malatech, Remo, Sabian, Vic Firth, and Zildjian. ABOP is a nonprofit. Your donations are tax deductible. Check out our website, www.abop.us, for information on how you can contribute. Please follow our podcast and spread the word about ABOP. We greatly appreciate your support. I am Raynor Carroll, and we are the Alliance of Black Orchestral Percussionists, ABOP. Thank you for listening.